within reach, no doubt, and we're champions. Born in the fight, in the DRL, we own the night. Degenerate race league, this is our creed. Fast and furious, it's all we need. It's all we need. It's all we want to like. We own the track. We own the night. We own the night.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Degenerate Race League. My name is James Newton, and I'm going to be bringing you all of the action from round 4 of the Formula Season 1 Championship here on the Degenerate Race League. As we prepare, the drivers are hitting the track for qualifying right now. They finished up their practice. They feel good enough. They're ready to go, as we are going to be attacking the 4 miles of Spa-Francorchamps. That's right, we've gone to the Red Bull Ring out in Austria, hit Austin, Texas for Circuit of the Americas, been out to Interlagos as we saw some fierce action. 3 different winners in the first 3 rounds of the DRL. I wonder if we'll make it 4 or will we have our first repeat of the season. Well, as you can see, we are at something quite special. Since 1950, this 4-mile circuit draped across the hills of the Ardennes Forest has provided spectacle and drama throughout the globe. Formula One famously coming here since 1950. Many endurance series, all sorts of different racing being done around these hallowed corners. And now the Indy Next machines, the Dallara IL-15s, will be taking to the track, and we'll be bringing you all of the action. Once again, drivers making their way on to the circuit. "15-minute session, 12 and a bit to go. Waiting on drivers to set their first couple of lap times. This will be something quite special. Why don't we wait on the drivers to get up to speed? And while we do that, we'll have a look at the championship standings for the drivers. So again, looking a little bit different because we have 2 drop rounds, which means that now that we've completed round 3, that we have official results where Gav Cook, Ryan Barkins, and Morgan Dino, Mercedes, Audi, and Williams, 3 different manufacturers, 3 different winners of the first 3 races, all taking the fastest lap as well. It means we have a 3-way tie at the moment. Andrew Jackson and Alex Hansen picking up second places for Mercedes and Alpine respectively, so 4th and 5th, tied for 4th. Silas Jansen picking up a 3rd place, their best result. Ross Twiddell, Frederick Goupel, Michael Trost, and Samuel Bozak picking up points for their respective teams. Juan Cruz, Russell Stanford, Tony McAnally, Artur Hermanis, Nathaniel Acker, Mike Brown, Jim Kelly, Kurt Huber, Jeremy Spencer-Dunn, and Sam Zawissa, the top 20, although the last 4 yet to score any points, but that could all change as we will look to see who will be able to hit the ground running here at Spa. Only 11 minutes to go as we await the first times to be coming in. Drivers making their way around. As we saw Tyler Finley, the driver who, in the Cadillac, new addition to the Formula Season 1 Championship, will be looking to try and put their best foot forward in that number 23 machine. Morgan Dino puts in their first lap of the session. Winner last time out at Interlagos. Right on board with last week's winner. Heading down the hill, so through La Source See the fastest lap coming in from Morgan Dino, 2:05. So the driver taking over 2 minutes down the hill from La Source, through the left, through the right, up through Eau Rouge, over the top through Radillon, taking a little bit of curb, but not too much. These Indy lights very, very easy around some of these corners, but through this trickier section down the Kimmel Straight. Takes quite a while, maxing out 5th gear, now grabs 6th gear, finally hard on the brakes through Les Camps. And the left, the right, left, right. And downhill's Gavin Cook now puts in the fastest lap of the qualifying session. And Andrew Jackson's in the Mercedes looking mega as we head down through this right-hander, adding a lot of steering lock through the middle of the corner is Morgan Dino. Through turn 9, no-name corner, Jackie X, take your pick. And now we head to one of the scariest parts on the circuit. This long left-hander Pujon, the double left-hander. One apex there, way out onto the rumble strip. And second apex, no problem. Dino's neck probably still hurting a little bit as we head through this little piff-paff section, right and then left. And again, struggling for traction on the rear is not going to be helping you out through this section. Right-hander, medium speed corner, very deceptive. A little bit of runoff on the exit, but lots and lots of gravel. As you see the gravel being pulled onto the circuit, and now through curve Paul Freyer and onto this back section. Not a lot of fans out on the back side of this track. As we see, basically just forest, very high speed section, no problem through that first left-hander. Blanchimont flat out, no problem for the Dallara IL-15s. Hard on the brakes for the bus stop. Where do they brake? As late as they dare, coming out of the chicane. Where do we put the car? Again, trying to just put on the steering lock. And across the line, Morgan Dino, 2:05.3. Last time out, 7/10 of a second off the pace. Another quarter of a second, but that puts us on the second row. Pretty impressive track all in all. Obviously very, very important for many, many. Oh, you have a car going off. And who was that? Off to the side. Looks like they've gotten that back to the pits. And every driver so far, looks like Tony McAnally has not put in a representative time. They're 2.5 seconds up on that 5.4, so they're looking for probably about 14th or so. We have about 17 or 18 drivers taking part. Tony McAnally up into 16th position, 2.8 seconds off the pace of Jackson Finley and Gavin Cook. Looks like we see Stanford exiting out of the pits. Finley on quite a quick lap as well, about 2/10 up. Would only need about 3/10 in order to take that top spot. We've seen how important track position has been, even on some of the racier circuits, Coda, Interlagos. I guess all the tracks we've gone to are really drivers' tracks. Now across the line comes Tyler Finley. What's the score on the door? They lower it by 1/10, and that is it. Andrew Jackson still holding on to that top spot. And drivers, there's Andrew Jackson making their way out of pits. In that Mercedes, Morgan Dino following in behind. So again, 3 different winners in the first 3 races. Get Samuel Bozak across the line. Oh, and now goes off into the grass. Drivers just kind of getting to grips with their machines. As again, Tyler Finley, a new addition to this series. A couple drivers going off a little bit. Looks like that's the number 19, Kevin Polinick, another new addition to this series. Getting out of the way. Good work being done there. Juan Cruz on a fast lap. Oh, just as we cut to them, sliding the rear of that McLaren, and is going to find the gravel. The 444 not going very quickly out of that. Looks like a lot of different drivers having a lot of different trouble. Daniel Acker about 3/10 back from what they've been running, about a second off the pace of the Mercedes in front. The Haas driver picking up a few points last time out at Interlagos and looking quite good using all of the exit curb. And across the line for, what's the score on the door for the Haas? No improvement, stays 7th position. We're about 1/3 to go, 5 minutes, a little over 5 minutes left in the session. It's currently Jackson, Finley, Cook, Dino, Trost, Hansen, Acker, Stanford, Konstantin Kozak, and Juan Cruz rounding out the top 10. Samuel Bozak, Corey Fortner, Sam Zawissa, Jeremy Spencer-Dunn, Silas Jansen, the McLaren teammate to the driver in 10th position, Tony McAnally and Mike Brown in the Ferrari as they're burning it out in the pits. And Tart Embry, another addition. We have a look at the Audi. Trying to find a more. So again, we have 18 in the field. The number 18 has yet to put in a representative lap time. Has 4.5 minutes to do so, but should be decent around here. And still a quarter of a second that the drivers have to find at least to try and get Andrew Jackson off of their high horse. Lots of drivers putting in fast laps here. Russell Stanford, couple of tenths up. Andrew Jackson going even quicker. So we'll have to see how they look across the line. Russell Stanford heading through Pouhon. Enormous speed being taken through there. And, of course, these drivers trying to fight for every point they can get. 25 points for taking the lead, or taking the victory here at Spa. And, of course, for the fastest lap of the race. No points for getting on pole position except for a bit of bragging rights. And, of course, as we've talked about, even though we've been on drivers' tracks, it really shows how important having good track position can be. Alex Hansen having an issue coming out of La Source, trying to wind it up for a fast lap. We've seen Hansen at the sharp end a handful of times this season. Morgandino also coming through the final sector of the lap. And Andrew Jackson is half a second up. On board with the Mercedes driver. And they're looking for a tow from the McLaren in front. Let's see how we do it. As Michael Trost, Alex Hansen, Nathaniel Acker not on good laps at the moment. Andrew Jackson up 6/10. What can they do? Really early turn in, forcing this Dallara chassis in there. Very slow out of the second part, which will give them a good run to the line. And what is it going to be this time? And it looks like there's no... Oh, here you go. About a tenth or so. About a tenth and a half. So new fastest lap for Andrew Jackson. You see handful of drivers trying to make their only 2.5 minutes to go, and it's a 2-minute lap. So anybody not on a quick lap. See Tyler Finley making their way out, keep catching all the drivers right at the far side of the circuit, looking for somebody who's on a good run a little earlier on. There's Juan Cruz coming down the hill. Tony McAnally chasing them down if they can, and Hart Embry yet to, again, 3 seconds up on their personal best, but they have not put in, again, 2:18 last time around, so they'll be trying to come through and get a better result. At least get a lap time on the board to try and get there. Oh, we have a spin just in the back. That was one of the Cadillacs. Was that Finley? Yes, it was. It's Tyler Finley across the start-finish line backwards. It's going to spin it, see if there's any yellow. I don't think there's going to be a yellow that's going to be coming out. 23 lights up the rears and will not have enough time to continue around. So that's a big moment. And Tart Embry not going to have enough time to make it around. So Embry at the back, considering that they're not going to have any time to do anything about it. Looks like that might have been Jansen in the McLaren, holding back just a little bit. And wow, this is really turning into quite a moment as Alex Hansen absolutely flying 1.5 seconds to the good. The number 10 really hustling it around. Corey Fortner, their teammate. We saw Goupil have a really good run at the beginning of Interlagos, eventually crashed out, was unable to finish the race, so not a good look for them. Did the very best. They had a really good amount of pace, had a really good opportunity, and eventually it just did not work out in that first stage at Interlagos. So Alpine looking for more, and Alex Hansen might be giving it to them as both of these drivers really going for it right at the death. 21 seconds left on the board. Andrew Jackson in the pits. Tyler Finley still out there. Morgan Dino well off of the pace. So Alex Hansen and Nathaniel Acker also 2.5 seconds up on their best, it looks like, or at least their average pace. So running better than average. Hansen now getting a handful of the back of their teammate, and now the teammate pulls out of the way. So a really good tow, trying to pull Hansen up into the top half of the top 10. What is it gonna be for Alex Hansen out of the final corner, trying to put the Alpine higher up, potentially up into 4th. Maybe if they get half a second, it looks like they're gonna be moving up a little bit, and it's up to 5th. So into the top half of the top 10, and a good look there is now Nathaniel Acker trying to put the Haas into the top half of the top 10. Tart Embry trying to, oh, and a big spin. That, I don't know if that's impeding, but that was not the way that Acker wants to end this qualifying session. You're gonna back it off of the circuit and get out of the way. Russell Stanford coming through on a very hot lap. 1.2 seconds back from Andrew Jackson. Only 0.3 will get them up into the top 7. And he does. And Russell Stanford into the top 7. Very close here on the field. And quite impressive stuff. It looks like nobody else. Sam Zawissa might still be on a flyer. Silas Jansen, Tony McAnally still not looking like they're on any kind of competitive time. So right on board with the Red Bull driver. Zawissa, enormous improvement from the first couple of races of the season. And really looking to try and stamp their name potentially in the top. If they can find 0.4 of a second, not looking like they're going to be going that much quicker. The 52 is absolutely giving it everything they've got. Pedal to the metal all the way down this back straightaway. Hard on the brakes into the bus stop. Going to try and get all over these curves if they can. Very good entry, very deep entry. And it's going to really cost them on exit. Can they get the power down? Second gear, grabs third. 100 miles an hour across the line. Where do they go? 2.1 off of the pace. Oh, wow. They move up 0.4. So they make a spot on Corey Fortner. What a fantastic finish to qualifying. And with that, we will have the results coming in shortly. And the results will look like this. Andrew Jackson with a 2:04.3 for 0.4 ahead of Tyler Finley. Gavin Cook bringing home 3rd for Mercedes for the second row. Morgan Dino will line up right in behind, winner last time out. Alex Hansen, 5th position. Samuel Bozak in 6th. Russell Stanford 7th. Michael Trost 8th. Nathaniel Acker 9th. And Konstantin Kozak 10th. 11th is Juan Cruz. Sam Zawissa in 12th. 13th, Corey Fortner. 14th, Silas Jansen. 15th, Jeremy Spencer Dunn. 16th, Tony McAnally. And the 17th is Mike Brown. And Tart Embry unable to put in a lap time. So we'll take a short break, take a step away, be right back with the main event here for the DRL. Welcome back to Spa-Francorchamps. We are getting set to get going for this feature race coming on up. So we'll run through the grid as quickly as possible. We have Samuel Bozak showing in first position. Sam Zawissa. Let's have a look here as practice. Let me get qualifying up here. As we've got the drivers getting gridded up and getting going in just a moment. It's going to be Andrew Jackson on pole, Tyler Finley alongside in second position. Third is Gav Cook alongside Morgan Dino for the second row. Third row is Alex Hansen alongside Samuel Bozak in the Williams. The Aston Martin Russell Stanford lining up alongside Michael Trost. We also have Nathaniel Acker in the Haas, Konstantin Kozak in the Red Bull. We have the Mercedes or the McLaren of Juan Cruz alongside Sam Zawissa. 13th is Corey Fortner alongside Silas Jansen. We have Jeremy Spencer Dunn and Tony McAnally. And rounding out the field, Mike Brown and Tart Embry. And the drivers are getting set to go, waiting on the second place driver, who will be hopping in any moment now. And there we go. We have the pole position on the grid as Andrew Jackson lines up alongside Tyler Finley for this start.
Green flag, green flag.
And the lights are out and away we go. A really bad start for the 11. Samuel Bozak falling in behind. So we see 4 wide further back. All the drivers able to make it through relatively safely. As we see Andrew Jackson making their way down to Eau Rouge for the first time. We have a look back through all of the calamity as drivers side by side coming over the top of the hill. And it's Jackson that leads away from their teammate Gav Cook. It's a Mercedes 1-2 with Tyler Finley just in behind. Morgan Dino trying to get up to the back of Alex Hansen. Has an issue with Russell Stanford trying to get through on there. So it's Jackson, Cook, Finley, Hansen, Dino, Stanford, Acker, and Palaniuk. Daniel Acker, Konstantin Kozak, Silas Jansen, and Samuel Bozak. Your top 10. So Bozak not the best start at all. And falling relatively far back. These drivers do have push to pass, 65 seconds worth in these Indy Next machines. So I'll be keeping you up to date with the amount of push to pass that the drivers have. Nobody's been on the push to pass button as of yet. So you can see Morgan Dino trying to have a look at the back. There's a big stack up here. We're looking at Nathaniel Acker trying to fight off their teammate, Michael Trost. Both Haas's looking very racy. And Samuel Bozak trying to have a look at the back of Silas Jansen. Right on board with 9th position. We're looking for the battle for 7th. Konstantin Kozak coming under pressure. Oh, and a humongous moment from Samuel Bozak. And wow. What a huge moment. Able to keep it going. Catch a replay of this here. Coming through the moment, and look at that snap. Very unforgiving. Able to keep it out of the wall. Able to keep it facing in the right direction over the grass. Very good avoidance from the 11. And basically tows it back to pit lane. As we still have a tons of that. So this is Haas on McLaren on Haas on McLaren. Drivers heading all the way down the chemical here. Look at this. It's 2x2. Absolutely fantastic racing. And who's going to come out on top? The McLaren are on the outside, potentially Juan Cruz on the outside. Silas Jansen on the outside. And Nathaniel Acker able to lead this group away as they're still potentially side by side further on back. Head down into the more technical section of the track. A little bit less slipstreaming. Andrew Jackson 4/10 of a second up in the lead. As Tyler Finley able to get around Gav Cook. So this is a big move here for the Cadillac driver. Andrew Jackson, 0.2 of a second. So it looks like Andrew Jackson used 5 seconds of their push to pass. Tyler Finley using 10. Gav Cook using none as they're under attack from Morgan Dino, and a little bit squirrely is Andrew Jackson. They know they need to get these tires fired up here. 22 laps is the distance as Morgan Dino off of the road and almost a second behind Gav Cook now as it stands. As officially Samuel Bozak is now out of the race. Konstantin Kozak in the pits at the moment. Tyler Finley tries to go for the lead of the race around the outside into the bus stop potentially. There may not be any room. Mercedes doesn't leave any. And Morgan Dino very late on the brakes. And they are all lined up. Russell Stanford lurking in the background with a big, big blink. And now it looks like Gavin Cook may have a chance to have a comeback at the number 23. Oh, and this is looking very, very close. Tyler Finley, the fastest lap of the race at 2:05.8. And this top 5 is truly broken away. They're 4 seconds in front of that battle for, basically the battle for 6th on back. An absolute mayhem. We have a look off the back of Nathaniel Acker. Juan Cruz getting a good look as well. Drivers all the way down the Camel Straight. Oh, and banging wheels. Juan Cruz and Nathaniel Acker trying to sort out their differences. Apologies, that's Michael Trost in the Haas, the number 17 machine, trying to hold off the 444. And the fact that both of those drivers are still okay, they both use about 10 seconds to push to pass. Oh, and that's a big lock up. That right front will not stop locking up for Michael Trost. This is an opportunity for the McLaren on the outside. Into no name this, they get it done. Silas Jansen up into 8th position, and is Trost in trouble? We'll get a good look here. Through Pouhon, you'll need to have all your suspension pieces properly affixed. Still trying to make some moves as they dive their way through that left-right. Corey Fortner. Oh, and my goodness. And that's a big moment. I don't know if that 17's well. Michael Trost all over the shop trying to put the power down, having issues in, out, into corners, out of corners, through the middle. Potentially with that contact between Juan Cruz and themselves. That could be a disaster for Haas. Oh, issues with Tyler Finley into the bus stop chicane. What in the world happened there? We're gonna have a look on board with Morgan Dino to see what was going on. Into the bus stop. What happened? Morgan Dino attacking Cook and dies on the inside. What a big move. Absolutely wipes out the Cadillac, unfortunately. Russell Stanford able to scoot on through. And that left front's broken. Oh, probably maybe it's the right front. Yeah, the right front. You can see it is absolutely, and lets the Cadillac through, of course. So good on them. Wow. Big, big moments. And here's Morgan Dino now trying to fight back. But that means that Andrew Jackson is 1.6 seconds up the road from their teammate, Gav Cook. Russell Stanford inherits 3rd place. Tyler Finley has Morgan Dino all over the back of them. Wow, so just misjudged the braking zone for the Williams. And it's all happening here now. Silas Jansen being overtaken by Corey Fortner, it looks like. Michael Trost trying to make it a race with the McLaren once again. Hart Embry, meanwhile, in the Audi, making up some spots. Audi's running 14th and 15th, not the best of runs for them. Nathaniel Acker looking very close now to the back of Morgan Dino. Riding on board the driver who is currently in 6th position, and Morgan Dino has issues. That does not look good for the number 4, as they still have almost 2 miles to make it all the way back around to the pit stop. And again going off, trying to put as much pressure as they can. We're only on lap 4 of 22, and we've already had plenty of racing for today. I think we're gonna get spoiled for even more. We see Gavin Cook now closing that front gap down to almost 3/4 of a second. And Russell Stanford on that push to pass out of the final corner as they head their way into La Source. Dirty tires on the left side as Andrew Jackson tries to open up that advantage. Having a look here at Gav Cook, trying to use the slipstream. We're going to see what kind of pace they can carry through all the way through Eau Rouge, up the hill through Radillon, and trying to close all the time. Yet to press the button is the 69 of Gav Cook. You can see it's 0.7 of a second. 6.5, not quite in the slipstream enough to make a real difference. But they are still lurking And how about Mercedes looking so strong? 2.5 seconds to the good. We now have this knot of racing just further back there. Sam Zawissa going side by side with Jeremy Spencer Dunn. Sam Zawissa winning out on the outside line. Going to pay for it on that exit. Now they're almost into each other. Very close racing here. This is for 10th position. So this will be the first points for Sam Zawissa if they can get this done. Jeremy Spencer Dunn would love to take that point away as Mike Brown 8 seconds back of this battle. And Morgan Dino in 4th position after coming in for the pit stop. Going to try and make up for lost time. Well, it is all just kicking off here. Michael Trost in the Haas trying to look at the back of Silas Jansen. So on lap, it was a little bit of right rear getting into the gravel. We've seen a handful of battles here at Spa, round 4 of the Degenerate Race League. Again, my name is James Newton, bringing you all the action, sights, and sounds from the Ardennes Forest. To work lap 5 of 22 for the Formula Season 1 Championship. Andrew Jackson leads the way by less than a second over his teammate Gavin Cook. Russell Stanford in 3rd. Tyler Finley, a new addition, in 4th. Nathaniel Acker, Juan Cruz, Corey Fortner, Silas Jansen, Michael Trost, then Sam Zawissa. Your top 10. As this battle really is starting to look very, very close. Riding on board with the Haas, Michael Trost trying to have a look at Silas Jansen. We'll see how they get the exit out of it, as it looks like Corey Fortner maybe coming into this battle as well. Look at this, having to back out of the throttle going through. He's trying to find a little bit of clean air potentially. Now the 17 on the 37 trying to see what they can do for 8th position. Goes down the inside, leaves it right in the middle of the road for Jansen. Down the inside for Trost, nothing doing as the 37 able to hang on. Not a lick of push to pass, as well as Michael Trost down to 48 seconds. Tyler Finley, the lowest driver in the field when it comes to push to pass. The Cadillac machine currently at 35 seconds. So quite a different margin as they head through turn 9. Bit of dust being kicked up by the McLaren driver. Michael Trost trying to have a look at the back of Jansen. And we'll continue to battle on through. Meanwhile, Gavin Cook trying to close down 0.7 of a second, turning it into 6.5 as they look at the back of Andrew Jackson. Jackson picking up the pace this time by. Trying to respond, but a very good look at the moment for Mercedes. 3.5 seconds to the good. We are about a quarter of the way through this race. A lot of drivers really picking up the pace, really showing good improvement throughout this series. And of course, the Indy Next is the machine that basically is the last stepping stone into IndyCar, preparing drivers for what they would face on the high-banked ovals across different tracks in the United States. But of course, these machines so much more than oval specification. We now see Gavin Cook down the hill trying to get into the wheel tracks and seeing what they can do. And 0.5 becomes 4.5. This is looking a little spicy. Neither driver on push to pass, but we're having a look at Jackson and Cook. This could go down to who pits first, who gets the fresh tires first, and who's able to hang in to the fight. The drivers make their way still. Sam Zawissa trying to close in on Michael Trost, who has dropped off the back of Silas Jansen. Something going on with Michael Trost, unable to hang on to the back of that McLaren. Drivers just looking to see what they can do. A big wide moment for Michael Trost. This is one of the closest battles on track, and Sam Zawissa may smell some blood in the water. Has 1 point in hand, the first point of the season for them. Could they double it and make it 2 if they can get up to the back of the Haas? Tony McAnally, meanwhile, looks like a little bit of a Audi civil war as Embry and McAnally look like they're going to be doing battle. Hop on board the 27 machine. Any kind of lift through. Oh, yeah, big dab of the brake. For Tony McAnally. Very good run from Embry, who again is joining this season a little bit late, but better late than never. As the Audis continue to fight it out. Got some action out of the final corner. Juan Cruz, Corey Fortner, and Silas Jansen. So 2 McLarens involved. And this is looking quite spicy. What happens into first corner? Oh, side by side. Corey Fortner basically hitting sideways into the source. They're trying to get it slowed down. May come back in just a bit. Trying to see what happened. We're side by side, and we're just going to try and brake as late as possible. The rear end's going to lock. The right front, everything's going to lock up. We're not going to spin it quite there. And the McLaren's going to be able to get through. And now we're still behind them. Fortner, very scary moment. That could have wiped out Silas Jansen if that didn't go just right. Kind of like one of those karting maneuvers where you don't mean to go down the inside. You just brake too late and it just works out that you get to the apex first. Everybody safe and sound. And away they go. Alex Hansen on push to passes. The number 10 has caught both of the Audis. What a move! Down the inside, Hakkinen style. Alex Hansen, who has come into the pit, has come out and gotten, and now spins it and ruins that brand new set of tires, cools them off. What a crazy couple of quarters. Spa is bringing up an almighty couple of laps. He's really on lap 8. Both Audis. So Tony McAnally has basically, looks like they've towed back to the pits almost, trying to figure out where they are. Alex Hansen sideways both, so Tart Embry able to hang on. Let's see about this moment here. Need to go back even further than that, so we're gonna go side by side. Look at this 3-wide action, absolutely crazy. We're going to have around the outside, it's going to be Tony McAnally, and that's going to send the Audi wide. We're going to turn it in, cold tires, and just absolutely straight off into the gravel. And Embry going from 3rd all the way up to 1st, and now here we go again. Embry on the inside, we're going to go on the outside. Are we on the push to pass? You bet we are. 56 seconds left for Alex Hansen, who's used about 10 seconds of it, able to get clear. And holy moly, this is turning into some crazy. Embry still involved. And the Audi trying to fight their way back. And nothing doing there. So we have had Morgan Dino, Alex Hansen, and Kevin Palaniuk, who's also come into the pits. So the Red Bull driver has come on in, currently in the final position. So I believe, again, we've lost Samuel Bozak and we've lost Tony McAnally, unfortunately, as Jeremy Spencer-Dunn all over the back of the Ferrari. Mike Brown, again, with enormous improvement, but still not able to score points this season. And wouldn't they love to score it at somewhere like Spa? So many famous Ferrari moments here in the Ardennes Forest. We have so many different battles to keep up with. This is Corey Fortner on the back of Silas Jansen. This is for 7th position. Neither drivers come into the pit lane. As we are approaching the halfway point, there's only 9 laps on the clock, but 22 laps around here as we see all the drivers picking up all that dirt and debris. So tricky. Do they go? Silas Jansen in the McLaren, Corey Fortner in the Alpine. Where does Fortner do? They sling it to the inside. They're going to be nice and predictable around the outside. Gonna get the wing alongside the rear axle. Slows Jansen down. A good exit out of the final corner. Silas Jansen yet to push that push to pass. Corey Fortner still hanging tough, but nothing they can do as Tyler Finley now makes their way into the pit lane. Going to be serviced very shortly and back onto the track. Meanwhile, Corey Fortner looking to make up one more spot. Tucks into the wheel tracks, going to pop out. They're going to go to the outside. CR Jansen's going to force them the long way around. It's a face full of air now that they're not right on the back of the McLaren. What does the Alpine do into the corner? Looks like the McLaren's going to be able to take it down the inside. Does that compromise their line? It does not. And Fortner's going to have to try all over again. Meanwhile, Tyler Finley trying to have a look down the inside of the Haas of Michael Trost. Michael Trost not stopped yet, so Finley able to use the brand new rubber up to speed. Makes that work. Finley in the Cadillac looking quite strong. Out front, Andrew Jackson able to pull 2.5 seconds on their teammate of Gav Cook, running a very fast lap at the moment, and Gav Cook maybe has cooked those tires potentially. Michael Trost looking to try to repay the favor to Tyler Finley. Tyler Finley on 15 seconds worth of push to pass, the most active driver by a country mile on that push to pass button. And they might need to use all 15 seconds if they can't get away from Michael Trost. Cadillac trying to put down the power out of the finicky part of the circuit. And away they go. You see Corey Fortner trying to still work on Silas Jansen. Driver higher. Tyler Finley is the highest driver up that has made their stop. Looks like Russell Stanford may be coming into the pits. Yes, they do. The driver for Aston Martin going to be making their move there. Juan Cruz trying to have a look. Their teammate in all sorts of trouble. Corey Fortner looking like they might be making the move this time around. See him head up and over the hill. Oh, and they're almost side by side through Radion. I would not recommend that, gentlemen. Around the outside again. We've seen this move, but will they get any help from the McLaren up in front? It looks like the 37's got better traction. Hard on the brakes. Oh, they're side by side. This is getting very spicy. Over the road just a little bit. McLaren fighting back on the high side. Corey Fortner still trying to find a way through. A little bit of over-under. Will that be down into Lake Con? Not quite. Oh, and a big lockup from the McLaren. They're going to have plenty of speed down the hill toward turn 9. Jansen and Fortner giving us plenty of action here on lap 11. Both drivers are probably thinking about pitting, but maybe not. They're trying to see it not be in each other's laps. Through goes Corey Fortner, splitting the McLarens for the first time. Hits 5th position for the number 5. Jansen with that mountain of push to pass. What can the McLaren do once they have a bit of a tow down the straightaway? What does Fortner have in terms of tires? We are at the halfway point of this race, and some drivers look like they are not going to be coming into the pits anytime soon. Eating it up, battling it out. Speaking of battling it out, we're looking at Russell Stanford trying to have a look at the back of Sam Zawissa, who's on for their best result of the season so far. Andrew Jackson, a 2:05.0, 3 seconds out to the good. Both of the Mercedes drivers have used very little of their push to pass. Russell Stanford trying to line up a move on the Red Bull driver. Oh, and a bit squirrely on the rear. Where is that going to put Stanford? Oh, they try to come into the pits. What in the world? Sam Zawissa pulling into the pit lane right in front of Russell Stanford. That was a very hard-in-mouth moment for the 20. So we have a handful of other drivers coming down into the pits. We're seeing who is falling down through South. That'll be basically Morgan Dino being promoted to 8th position. So right in the middle of the race, it's Andrew Jackson leading by 3.5 seconds from Gavin Cook, Silas Jansen, Tyler Finley, Michael Tross, Russell Stanford, Mike Brown, Morgan Dino, Juan Cruz, and Alex Hansen, your top 10, as we're right in the middle of the pit cycle. Morgan Dino trying to make up a move on Mike Brown around the outside of the Ferrari on the push to pass for Morgan Dino. Mike Brown used up twice as much push to pass. Wasn't able to use it that time by. And through goes last week's winner at Interlagos, the number 4, running quite well, but on the back foot after that incident earlier on in the race. Andrew Jackson up front, it has to be said, putting up mega pace. And we now have Tyler Finley has come into the pits. Russell Stanford has also joined them. Morgan Dino, Juan Cruz, Alex Hansen, Corey Fortner, Nathaniel Acker, Sam Zawissa, Tart Embry, and Kevin Polinick have all come into the pits. So now Andrew Jackson coming down the pit lane. So the leader comes into the pits. Gav Cook gets a bit of free air. 3 seconds was the gap earlier on. So we'll have to see if Gav Cook can do anything about that. Very bumpy pit lane here in Spa. Looks like everything's got to settle down here for the moment. Right on board with Russell Stanford, 1.8 seconds and closing to the back of Michael Trost. Fastest lap of the race for Tyler Finley. Hop on board with the Cadillac here for just a moment. We'll see them make their way through. And again, more pit stops being made. Silas Jansen, Mike Brown, both down pit lane. Juan Cruz trying to have a look at Silas Jansen. It seems it looks like they're going to be side by side as the McLarens are together. This is absolutely spicy. And look at this down the Kemmel Straights. We got 2 McLarens line astern for 7th position. Plenty of space up front, plenty of space in behind. Alex Hansen lurking in the back of the Alpine thinking, do it, do it, do it, do it. Nothing doing into that corner right at the end of the Kemmel Straight. Silas Jansen hanging out for now. Gap's still swirling, gap's still forming. So again, Gav Cook yet to come into the pits. Michael Trost, another driver yet to come into the pits, currently running 4th in the Haas, looking for a good top 10 result if they can hang tough. Jeremy Spencer Dunn, another driver on a pretty fast lap, not able or has not come into the pits as of yet. As we continue to work lap 14 here at Spa for round 4 of the Degenerate Race League. And now Gav Cook down into pit lane. And let's see where Andrew Jackson comes out. So across the line for the net leader potentially. And where does that put the Mercedes drivers? We still don't see another Mercedes pop out of the pits. Looks like we just caught them right at the end. What is the gap? And the gap is about 3.3 seconds. Michael Trost now finally comes on into the pit lane. So we'll see them come down for service. Alex Hansen is caught up to Jansen. This is looking quite toasty. What can the Alpine do? Michael Trost falls potentially out of the top 10. Well, this race is absolutely flying by. 14 laps of 22. Thank you everybody who has joined in live to watch the festivities. And again, Spa always really just brings just such drama, such fantastic racing, and this is getting quite close. Alex Hansen doesn't touch the push to pass. Silas Jansen yet to press the button at all. Waiting to have a rocket ship later on in the race if they need. Mercedes with the drop weeks, no matter what happens, it's going to leave here with the team's championship standings on top for the moment. We have a look at Tyler Finley, has been the dark horse all day. Had a bit of a trick earlier on with Morgan Dino getting into the side of them unintentionally. Cadillac has a really good opportunity to get up to the back of Gav Cook. They're only 0.4 of a second between second and third place. This is a fight for the podium. There's plenty of space back to Russell Stanford. So this will be a gloves-off brawl if it comes to it. Silver and bright blue of the Petronas Mercedes team. A big lockup, a big old puff of smoke from that right front. Cook gonna get a bad run all the way through. That silver and black Cadillac trying to have a look at second position. And lost a lot of time. Oh, Gav Cook all over that push to pass. Tyler Finley is out of push to pass. Juan Cruz has 9 seconds back in 6th position. That is a big development in this fight. The two Mercedes have left it very late. Andrew Jackson has 60 seconds up in the lead. Cook and Finley. Cook has 31 seconds. Tyler Finley has absolutely diddly squat. Konstantin Kozak coming into the pits. Trying to see where that will put them. Apologies, that's Konstantin Kozak in the number 16. So again, we're having a look at the battle for second position. So working lap 15 here at Spa-Francorchamps. Andrew Jackson lead by only 1.5 seconds from their teammate Gavin Cook. Tyler Finley in third position. Only a second back, looking like a very big threat as Gav Cook still on the push to pass. That Mercedes is going for it. And Andrew Jackson will know. I mean, Gav Cook is 6 seconds, 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds. Going to use it all up here. 2, 1. And that is it for Gav Cook within 1 second of the leader. Andrew Jackson with 60 seconds push to pass. That is going to be a big, big deal if they begin to battle. So the top three separated by 3 seconds. We've had some pretty good finishes in this Formula Season 1. As Gav Cook, the fastest lap of the race with about 15 seconds worth of push to pass. Second and third out of that attack. Corey Fortner has plenty of attack in that Alpine in terms of tires. Jeremy Spencer Dunn in retaliation. 18 seconds worth of push to pass and used a couple of seconds of it just then. Trying to get away from this very fast number 5, Corey Fortner, making their debut, and now Dunn a little all over the road. Oh no, look at this. Oh, there we go. So Jeremy Spencer Dunn, the last driver to stay out as long as possible, waiting for something to happen. Nothing really materialized, and the Red Bull driver will make their way back into the pit lane. He's kind of settling down a little bit. Did I say that? Nathaniel Acker setting, I believe, what was a personal best last time by. Still see the battle for 8th position. Michael Trost trying to hang on for some good points for Haas. A big lockup. We've seen a lot of lockups into turn 1. A lot of lockups into the bus stop chicane. And a lot of lockups into that right-hand hairpin. Again, if you're joining us here on the DRL, glad to have you. We've seen some pretty incredible stuff. The closest gap on track. Oh, it looks like something's happened here to Gav Cook. And that might have been a spin. at the bus stop. We were just talking about locking up. This may be even worse than that. 69 coming in. There's the Audi just up ahead. Oh, and absolutely caught the eye of the 69, who had to wait and let Tyler Finley through. Good heads-up driving from the 69, but Gav Cook, and again, there's no push to pass between these two. So Tart Embry, unfortunately, kind of getting in between these drivers. And what a shame. So Gav Cook, again, we saw at Interlagos, tried to have a move on Morgandino right at the end and ended up making a mistake in the final corner. Makes another mistake in the final corner, unsighted by the Audi, basically trying to have a look and nothing doing. And just goes straight on. Good job not to make any contact, but that's really gonna put them with at least a second and a half, as we have the Audi of Embry going off of the road in the background. It actually brings us nicely on to Russell Stanford, the number 20, one of the stronger drivers in the field when it comes to positions that they are able to make up during the race. Stanford putting on quite a good performance in that Aston Martin, and looking quite good. Again, we see the gaps relatively large. But there's no shortage of action. So again, Andrew Jackson out in front. Tyler Finley up into second after that mistake from Gav Cook, who is 1.2 seconds back, and that's actually closing as we speak. Gav Cook trying to make up for lost time. Only 5 laps to go in this race. My goodness me, what incredible stuff we've seen. Side-by-side action, a bit of 3 wide, a bit of Hakkinen and Schumacher. We're seeing Silas Jansen trying to close in on Juan Cruz, their teammate. McLaren looking good for a 6-7. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I just walked into that. 6th position and also 7th position for the 2 McLarens. Oh my goodness. Well, that's just what you get for being a boomer like myself. Gav Cook, again, one of the closest battles on track, trying to hunt down Tyler Finley after that mistake in the bus stop chicane. As all drivers up on their pace currently, every single driver that is on the track is putting in one of the best laps of their race so far. You see all that crud being picked up by Gavin Cook. Having a look back here to Alex Hansen. It looks like 9th and 10th may be the way it's going to go for the Alpines, who have really been in the wars, really shown a lot of pace, a lot of tenacity throughout this season. Picking up 3 points would not be too shabby. Once again, drivers just making their way around the circuit, but what a circuit to make their way around. Again, right, Spa, 4 miles in length, the largest racetrack on the F1 calendar. One of the all-time greats. It's seen its fair share of glory, its fair share of drama, its fair share of dilemmas. Again, 16 drivers still running. We lost McAnally and Bozak. Handful of laps ago. Bozak with a really good qualifying performance for Williams. Looking to make good on that. Michael Trost getting very close, about a second or so to the back of Silas Jansen. Trost and Jansen 10 and 15 seconds of push to pass. Only a handful of laps to go. Lap 19 we are working. The leader making their way down through Eau Rouge and Radillon. We are up at La Source and almost into the back of the McLaren. Look at the amount of grip that the Michael Trost has. This has happened before Jansen and Trost have gone at it. And now what does the Haas do? Heading down through Eau Rouge, up over the hill of Radillon, and the McLaren looks a little bit wild. Trost only 0.3 of a second to go on the push to pass. Jansen is out, Trost is out. It's going to be down to downforce from here in through this section. A big smash of the brakes. Jansen is able to hang on for 7th position. Michael Trost with a big opportunity, not able to take it once again. And move from one Haas to another. Trying to look to make a move. Mike Brown in with a shot of points today, but doesn't look like it's going to be working out in their favor. As we are seeing Brown able to hold off Nathaniel Acker, who may be slowed up by the lapped traffic there. And Konstantin Kozak in the Red Bull machine. Able to make it on through on the lap traffic, so good on them for staying out of that. Nathaniel Acker again trying to have a look at the back of the Ferrari. Both drivers not looking like they're going to be heading toward points. But still a good battle just outside the top 10. Oh, around the outside into one of the trickier sections. And they go the long way around. It's got a very long way to go. The long way around now down the inside. Mike Brown leaving a bit of space. Oh, it loses it. Nathaniel Acker with the left rear into the wall. Is that even going to be able to make it around the rest of the track? That looks very wiggly. Tires are going to be overheated at least. And looks like they're going to be just fine. Move from one Haas to another, and here we go again. Trost on Jansen for 7th position. Only 2 laps to go when the leader comes by this time around, so 3 attempts that Trost may have. He swings it out wide, throws it up over the hill. Jansen doing everything they can. No push to pass here, boys. As we see again, that inside line going to force the Haas the long way around. Will the Haas stay on the inside? Trost may try all the way down the inside. No, they won't. Jansen able to close the door. And once again, the McLaren outwits the Haas, but the Haas just seems to have so much more pace at this stage. Only 1 lap difference in the tires. And Trost is really pushing for this. They really want these points. They want to split the McLarens if they can. This really is coming down to it. It looks like both these guys are trying to chase Cruz, as this is anything but a cruise. Trost trying to go down the inside of Pouhon. I don't know if I've ever seen a move like that on a Formula car. Maybe a Ray Formula Ford 1600, but in these pretty hefty powered machines, I don't think there's going to be a chance, but Trost is not looking for chances. As both Haas's are on the prowl. Michael Trost trying to have a look. 17's in the wheel tracks, gaining on Jansen. There's no push to pass in the battle, so Jansen doesn't have anything to defend with other than the car themselves. Going to put it on the right-hand side. Trost is not even going to fall for it. And now a late move. They're going to go for it. And Jansen, oh my goodness, Trost had to basically back out of that. Jansen get a horrible run through the corners. Both drivers really kind of trying to figure out what they're going to do. And Trost just trying to get their tires back up to temp, or probably trying to cool them off. Maybe in frustration. Only 2 laps left, 2 opportunities, and that may have been it. Again, one Haas to another as Nathaniel Acker still trying to have a look. Hart Embry making a spot over on Spencer Dunn, who's back into the pits. So that'll be second time for the Red Bull driver. Look at the curbing Nathaniel Acker's taking, trying to get around to this Ferrari. Both Haas treating us to a fantastic run right at the death. Down the hill once again. Nathaniel Acker, 14 seconds to push to pass. Mike Brown with 6. So double for And here we go. We're on that push to pass. We're going to try to go around the outside. It looks like we're just going to get that slam dunk done. What does Mike Brown have on the inside? Nothing for the Ferrari. Able to back out and able to fight another day. Daniel Acker up to 11th. Not good enough for points, but that won't matter. It will be all about the bragging rights for the number 314. So we still have this battle within half a second. Trost able to stick with the McLaren, but not able to get around. Jansen putting that machine in all the spots. And the other trick is Juan Cruz has lost about 2 seconds in the last 4 or 5 laps to Jansen and Trost. So this may turn into 2 McLarens trying to battle each other as we're on our final lap of the race. Out of the final corner, locking up a little bit for Trost. Andrew Jackson on the far side of the track. It's looked fantastic all day long. Really, really impressive stuff from the Mercedes, from both Mercedes in general. Gav Cook has put up a really good fight, got back around Tyler Finley after that mistake. And speaking of mistakes, Tyler Finley, what has happened there? Something. We are absolutely broken. Coming down the hill. Maybe out of fuel, looking around to see what's going on. We're in 5th gear, but there's almost no power. And that is Tyler Finley out. Russell Stanford's going to be in 3rd. Trying to catch Andrew Jackson. Out of the final quarter, Andrew Jackson held the lead the entire time, barring pit stops. It's going to sling it on across the line, and a 12-second gap to the rest of the field. Andrew Jackson, your winner here, round 4 at Spa for the Formula Season 1. And does some donuts. Oh, into the gravel. A couple style points taken off for that one for the 97. But goes ahead and burns it down. Gav Cook brings it home in 2nd place for Mercedes. And a couple of doubles there. And look at this for, oh my goodness, absolute carnage right at the end. That's not going to be donuts. That's going to be absolute pandemonium. And across the line, the McLarens side by side. Juan Cruz in front of Silas Jansen. Michael Trost making it a race very close right at the end. And Trost is going to spin it. Can Trost get it back going where Corey Fortner comes through? Yes, they can. My goodness me, that was close. 17 lighting it up. Oh, Corey Fortner having an issue. And goes the wrong way around. What is going on at the end of this race? No front wing, and that's going to bring Alex Hansen, their teammate, up. So the Alpines across the line at the same time. Wow, Corey Fortner down to 9th place. Nathaniel Acker across the line on the last push to pass. Nathaniel Acker takes the final points. 5 seconds ahead of Mike Brown, coming home in 11th position. Tyler Finley's not going to finish. Konstantin Kozak across the line. Embry's going to finish, and Jeremy Spencer-Dunn's going to end this one in the pit lane. Oh, and just brings it in. My goodness me. Well, what an absolutely crazy race. And we will be able to unpack all of that as we'll have the top 3 will be coming into the broadcast booth. But for now, we will go ahead and have a look at the way that they finish unofficially. After 22 laps of spots, Andrew Jackson, 14 seconds to the good, brings it home for Mercedes. Gavin Cook makes it a 1-2 once again. Russell Stanford in the Aston Martin, first podium of the season, 3rd place for the number 20. Morgan Dino recovering to 4th position after that issue earlier on. for Williams. Juan Cruz and Silas Jansen make it a 5 and 6 for McLaren. The hostile Michael Trost in the wars all day long and able to bring it home. 7th position. Alex Hansen and Corey Fortner for Alpine, making it 8 and 9. Nathaniel Acker picking up points for Haas in 10th position. Then it's Mike Brown in 11th position. Tyler Finley coming home in 12th position outside the points after looking like they were threatening maybe to take the lead, but at least get a podium today. Sam Zawissa in 13th, a lap down. Konstantina Kozak, Tart Embry also a lap down, 14th, 15th, 16th. Jeremy Spencer Dunn finishing in the pit lane. Lost Tony McAnally's Audi and the Williams of Samuel Bozak 14 and 21 laps ago. We'll tell you what we'll do. We'll have a look and see if any of the drivers are currently in the green room. Yes, they are. So we'll go ahead and have a chat here with Andrew Jackson. And Andrew, it's James in the comms booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. What's up, buddy?
Well, what's up is you just finished 14 seconds ahead of the entire field after 22 laps here at Spa. It looked like a relatively comfortable race from your perspective. Talk us through it.
It was pretty comfortable. Spa is one of my better known tracks. It's one place I'm just comfortable at right out of the gate. So took that momentum and carried it through the end.
When it comes to this track, how tricky is it in this kind of car, right? When you're trying to use the push to pass really efficiently, there's lots of places that you can really have a good lunge down the inside. Were you at all, kind of worried about the drivers in behind, or was it just kind of a go from the very beginning?
I wasn't. I was go from the beginning, but I saved my push to pass till about the last 5 laps. I was comfortable up front. But if you got on it too early, your rear end's going to turn into your front end. So you got to definitely be careful in some of these places. Best place to use it probably would have been out of turn 1 or the back straight right before blind spot. Those were the 2 best places I'd say to use the push to pass. But I was fortunate enough to not really need it this race.
Gav Cook, your teammate, coming home in 2nd position as well. Is that a ominous sign for the amount of pace that Gav Cook has, or is that a good feeling for the Petronas Mercedes team finishing 1-2?
Oh, it's great for the team, and Gav's been up front all season, so we're going strong.
Well, congratulations, Andrew, on a fantastic finish. Anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
I'd like to shout out Evan. Screw you, Evan. I beat you, even though you were here. And thank you for the commentary, brother. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. I don't know if I've gotten any negative shout outs. I might need to specify my phrasing there. A little bit of work for my broadcast side. Andrew, congratulations on P1 here at Spa.
Yeah, thanks, brother. I appreciate it.
All right, Andrew Jackson able to take the win. And now we will move on over to Gavin Cook, who finished P2. Gav, it's James with the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, sure do, James. Hey.
Well, it looks like it was quite an eventful one once again, as we had a little bit of late race drama, and we saw a couple of moments there with Tyler Finley. Both of you guys kind of running out of your push to pass a little earlier than I was expecting, and it kind of turned it into a straight fight. And again, a couple of wild moments that I don't think either of you guys would have wanted. Again, Tyler Finley finishing outside the points, unfortunately, for Cadillac. But talk us through that run.
Yeah. Good start. I was held behind Andy for a bit, and then Tyler got in front of me. And then Morgan went for a move. I have to take a look at it because it looks like I got in his braking zone, but I don't know if he was making the move anyway. But when he hit Tyler, I just thought, okay, that's it. Tyler's done. And but then I saw that he kept on creeping back up, and then after the pit stop, he was right there. And I just I used all my push to pass on one lap to try and get the fastest lap, which I got. I'm happy about that one. But yeah, Tyler was still there, and then I made one mistake. He got ahead of me. I was right behind the back marker and just locked up. And then he was right there and just like great pace, and then ran out of fuel on the last lap. His fuel calculator screwed him up. But lucky for me.
Yeah, definitely. We saw the telltale sign of being flat out fifth gear, trying to make it up the hill and just trying to get it up there. Didn't work out for them. When it comes to the Mercedes 1-2, how are you feeling about that? How are you feeling about another one of those?
Yeah, happy about that. Yeah, Andy was just crazy pace. Just I could not like I could get in his slipstream a couple of times, but then I was just hanging on for dear life trying to keep up with him. So yeah, I had to let him go a few times. But yeah, it was fun being 1-2, and I just nipped his fastest lap as well. So I'm happy about that. But yeah, I'm away for the next 2 weeks, so I had to do a decent job in these first 3 weeks to kind of give me a buffer. So yeah.
Absolutely. And we also incorporated the drop week. So technically you were in a three-way fight for the top spot, considering that you have taken one of the wins. And now I think they may be shuffling just a little bit, but still one of the top contenders. And we are just about halfway through this season. Anybody that you'd like to shout out or thank?
Oh yeah. Thanks to Evan, I beat you again.
That is the second negative shout out. I need to start changing my phrasing. Andy gave you a little bit of grief about that as well. But Gav Cook, congrats on P2 here at Spa.
Thank you, James.
Coming home second was Gavin Cook. We will now shift our attention on over to the third place driver of Russell Stanford, who'll be joining us in the booth in just a second. If I can grab him. There he is. And there we are. Russell, it's James with the comms booth. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Excellent. Well, the 20 looked quite good out there today, and quite impressive run, considering that it looked like you might be on for about a fifth place or so. Morgan Dino was coming back through
Yeah.
as well. And you really had some strong pace. You weren't really around a lot of cars from what I could tell, but
Yeah, I was pretty much it was pretty much open field once I got out of the pits. There wasn't Tyler. He I was came out I was ahead of him before he pitted, and then by the time I got out of the pits, he was a couple seconds ahead of me, and then he was gone. So there was pretty much nobody, once that point. But fortunately, I'm surprised pretty much anybody to be on the podium. So the Tyler running out of fuel was quite unfortunate because he left. I mean, he went from 2 seconds to 12, 13 seconds up on me. So it was I was quite surprised whenever I saw him sitting on the side of the on the side of the track.
yeah, definitely. We've kind of had a look at how impressive it was that car actually made it up the hill at all, as coming down the hill, fifth gear, flat out, and nothing's happening. So a big shame. But of course, again, you being in the right place at the right time, the right place was pretty close to the front. And again, we've seen enormous improvements, not just from some of the drivers that have kind of picked up a couple seconds, but the drivers up at the front, the Mercedes, have also kind of stepped up their game. So it seems like everybody, and including you, lots and lots of drivers really making some serious headway. And it's just really cool to see all the support for the league. Spa, Francorchamps gets a lot of love. I'd be interested, Russell, if you could explain what the worst part of Spa is in a car like this.
Well, I'm honestly not a big fan of Spa just in general, the worst part, probably my biggest area that I have the most trouble at is probably the final, like that hairpin esque turn where no the final turn, that like chicane or whatever. That is probably usually my worst spot because usually I give it way too much gas and I spin. So that's probably what I have the most trouble with this track. So, that other than that, it's just hitting all the apexes and hitting the right stopping zones. I think that's one reason why I was up front is just purely because I was consistent. Wasn't overly quick compared to the other guys, but consistency over and over and over again, I guess. So.
well, if only it was 1976, that chicane wouldn't be there. We'd have a different configuration, but a fantastic run to third, Russell, and congrats on the P3, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time out.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a great night.
Russell Stanford coming home in P3. And a pretty impressive evening of racing had by all. Well, we will leave you with this fantastic view of one of the greatest corners in the history of racing. Again, this has been the Degenerate Racing League. I've been James Newton calling all of the action. We'll see you next time out as we go racing same time, same channel. And all there's left to do is for me to wish you a good evening. Be safe out there and have a pleasant one.
From the start.